Today I have this Land Rover Defender 910. It's a 2007 2.4 litre diesel. It has a number of repairs being carried out. One of the main ones is the frame or chassis on this vehicle has been pointed out in an MOT for having some holes in it. On top of that, we've got our swivel steering seals are leaking. We've got a steerbox up there that's leaking. Got lots of repairs to get done on this, so it's bad, isn't it? So that's those 4 bolts out, but typically 3 out of the 4 snapped. So new bolts required for the front bumper. Already, just removing this front bumper, we're starting to see the corrosion, which is a problem. Okay, so what I've done, I've cleaned up these rubber bits for the ends. I've also put them onto the new bumper now. All I'm going to do, a wee pen, just mark the middles on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around, do the same on the other side, take those end caps back off and drill those holes. I'm going to remove all these added extra bits, the steps already broken off. So let's get into that. So here we have it, a genuine Land Rover chassis has been galvanised, ready to be swapped over. Like I said, we're going to paint this black just so it's more standing out like a sofa in this shiny silver. There we go. So we started painting it. Obviously there's still some galvanised bits that are needing done. So with these turret tops, you've got this piece here. These are going to get painted as well, but just to show you, so this comes up through these holes, and then obviously this goes up on top and bolts through it like that. So I've removed the rubber ends of these, and now I'm removing these, which are 30mm on that side, and 70mm on this side. I'll get these onto the new ones. There we go. A little bit of paint on them, and we've also got the rubbers on. There we go. Also painted the turret tops. Also started getting the tool bar on. So you need to run a tap down some of these threads for the bigger one, for the bigger bolts, and then that'll be that done. Okay, so I've tapped these threads out because they were filled with the galvanised metal. It was a M16 tap with a 2.0 pitch thread. Okay, so I'm going to make a plan to remove the bonnet, the grille, and both wings, so that it's just basically the engine exposed and I can get to kind of everything else, and also make removing the rest of it a bit easier, because when it's coming off and back on, these wings are not going to catch on things. So we'll get into that. So that's the bonnet removed. So what you do, you flip that all the way up, you can actually just lift it straight off. Front grille, it's just Phillips screws all the way around, 4 smaller ones along the top, and then there's a bolt either side as well, and that will disconnect this part from the side wings. Now I've got that off, I'm going to take this support along the top so it's these kind of braces here, bolt on both sides. I've got 2 nut bolts up there. And we'll take this plastic part off for the fan cover as well. So let's get into that. Now, these are actually studs that'll go bolt into here. So what I've done is I've actually double nutted the stud and pulled them out this side. I've left them this side so I can bring that out and it can all come out now. Okay, so we're starting to get it stripped down a bit. We've uncovered our first proper issue here. So, shouldn't be able to see my finger through that. This side hasn't quite went, I reckon. A wee bit of persuasion though, it probably would. So this side, I'll take the vent off this side so I can get into these 4 bolts here. There's the 2 Phillips that go through the wheel arch. That one to the front. It just lifts up and off. So while I'm at it, I'm going to be changing these headlights for LED ones, just so they're a bit lighter in the dark, a bit brighter in the dark, and they also look a bit better. So with that out, there's 3 more screws. It's just little metal clips that hold that bracket on. So now mounted the new steer box and put the new arm on. Okay, so I've removed the spare wheel off the bracket just to take some weight away. I've also started stripping it and emptying out the inside just to get some bolts on the sides and obviously seat bolts, stuff like that. Also I'll make it a little bit lighter as well to get it off. It's basically a support that runs up to the back of the body, and in here it's not attached, so it's snapped off completely. So we need these struts that run up to the top too. Right, so I've removed the benches, I've left the bottom halves in now, just because some of these bolts are a bit tight, stuff like that. Now to remove that wee bolt there, a bolt for the seat belt, and then there's ones underneath that come to this plate here. So I can remove those bars that were snapped on the previous part. So I'm going to remove these front seats now. Start with these front 2 10mm. So this is pretty much the full interior stripped out of it. So the rear benches, the passenger seat and the driver's seat. So I've removed the boot and the foam insert for this. So I'm removing these 10mm bolts from either side. Holds the body onto the frame. Also removing this 10mm cuff strap bolt. Also trying to remove the steering rack. E11. So obviously these brake pipes are not ideal because that will rub against the frame and everything. I'm going to be redoing that full one, so I'm going to snip this here, so it needs to be disconnected anyway. Same with this side, so that's pretty corroded anyway, so be replacing this brake pipe also, and that runs down that frame as well up there. So what I'll probably do is I'll just snip this again here and clip it for here. So this 10mm is hiding in here through there into the body, into the frame. So I'm moving the 230mm there, and then whatever size that used to be for the side step. But here is obviously one of the issues there. Up here as well, this is supports for the wings, so I've ordered these as well. Okay, I've removed that 30mm nut bolt through there. Frame the body, sit back end. Okay, that's that side step off now. The extent of the corrosion again. Also got that bolt out of there, nut bolt 30mm. All the wirings out the back of it. So it's just handbrake cable, coolant hoses. That's us. Right, so disconnect that brake pipe which goes to the back. Cut the coolant reservoir off. Bottom pipe there. The long pipe that goes round to there. Disconnect that brake. All the plugs. Disconnected the heater matrix hoses. Remove the vacuum hose. It runs from the brake servo down the back. Through these wires, that's why I've removed it, because I've been getting caught on wires into here. So the old frame now out. It's just a matter of swapping fuel tank, exhaust, axles, engine gearbox, everything over onto the new one. So the fuel tank, I found if you put a strap around it and if you lift the front end of it up first, you can get this left hand side up and it gets that hose, filler hose out of there. But it is heavy when it's feeling it. So I'm removing the wiring one that goes through the frame. A couple of clips at the back, goes in there. Runs all the way through, comes back out here. A couple of plugs again. And this one runs up here. That's a wee air strap onto the gearbox with a transfer case. So that's all the wiring. And from the frame. It's a bit of a pain to get this through. I had to use some rods. Okay, so I've cut the two bolts here and here because I've not been off for a very long time and they were just spinning and solid. So, but next I'm going to take the bolts out for the 4 mounts, but I will need to rivet them into the new frame because there's no threads on the new frame. Just been removing a couple more brackets. Took an earth point from there. Remove these fuel pipes up to the fuel rail and into this cooler. So I've removed the radiator, disconnected main radiator hoses, also removed the fuel cooler that sits back here, and it comes to here, connects into coolant here, and then there's a hose that comes through and goes into the radiator there too. Okay, so I've got a wee cheap rev nut tool, and I've rev nut EDs on. I've also put some rev nuts in there and just put them on temporarily now. I need to paint them. There's already rev nuts in here, which was for the fuel pipes for brackets. I'll need to retap. It's got galvanised metal in the threads. So I'll get onto that. So the new fuel filter fitted. Lines fitted back on. Onto the fuel tank. Front axles on. Okay, so I'm doing the silver hubs seals, which is these seals that sit here. You see these ones are leaking a wee bit. Taking out the 14mm multi-hex bolts at the back of here, and this full unit will come off. I've already got brake flexi disconnected because I've no dart yet for a reason, so I don't need to take the brakes apart. I've disconnected the track rod end, so this full hub will just pull clean out of there once all these bolts are out, and I'll be replacing the brake pipe and stuff like that once it's off. There we go, with a wee bit of gentle persuasion, that's that seal off as well. So we'll give this a wee clean up, re-grease it, new seal. So here we are, start at the front, we'll work our way back. Got a brand new galvanised front bumper and new stainless steel bolts in it. We have upgraded headlights. Also gave it a nice good clean, so there we go. We've got a new vent here because this one was actually cracked that I noticed. We'll make our way underneath. So we've got all new suspension all round. Got a new steer box and arm. New swivel hub seals. We've got new brake pipes. We've done a front axle oil change. Done a full engine service as well. That's including an oil filter, oil air filter, and a fuel filter. Again, new brake pipes, new suspension. Full underneath of the galvanised frame has also been painted black, and the full underneath of the body has been painted grey. We'll make our way around. We've also adjusted the doors so these open and shut a lot better now without dropping down. There we go. Make our way to the back. We have new mud flap mounts, new step here. We have put a new reverse switch in it as well, so this reverse light now works. And looking under here, again, new suspension all round, new brake pipes. The differential oil seal has been replaced, and also it has had an oil change. This seal on this side was the one that was leaking. I have replaced the seal and seems to have done the job. Then new brake pipes. We've got a new brake pipe running all the way from the back to the front also. Underneath as well. So on this prop shaft here, fitted a new grease fitting along with the one on the front, as they were missing. You can see there's new bump stops, completely bone dry under here. There's probably a couple of things I've missed out, but I'll do one more walk down round it and let you see it. Starting at the back this time.